What's up, YouTube? Brett Hoover from Rants here. Alright, so if y'all enjoy our content here on Rants, please like, subscribe, and leave that comment down below. Let's help us this channel get monetized. If you enjoy our content, please help us out by liking and subscribing. But today we're actually going to talk about Shang-Chi sequel and an update on it. This is a movie that a lot of people, especially on YouTube commentators, absolutely despised. I thought it was utter trash. I personally didn't think it was trash. I trashed the movie for what I thought it was going to be, but when I did watch it, I was a little bit wrong. It was a decent movie. It wasn't a great movie. Definitely didn't deserve a sequel. Perfectly fine with it just being a one and done, but as always, you knew that wasn't going to happen. Not with diversity for diversity's sake at this point. But anyways, let's get on into this. Um, the recently announced sequel to Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings likely won't enter production for quite some time. However, writer-director Destin Daniel Cretton says that early story planning for the Master of Kung Fu's next solo film is underway. During a recent interview with Collider, Cretton was asked if he's done any actual writing on Shang-Chi 2 as of yet, or if the film's story details are still being ironed out. I've done zero, he replied. It's a fun place to be right now. Everything is a possibility. We're just tossing very loose ideas around, and we'll start to hone in on something, hopefully. I don't mind that answer, to be honest with you. I don't like things that are rushed. I would much prefer, if they're going to actually do this sequel, to really think things through about what direction they want to do, what they want this character to be. I kind of felt like this character took a real back seat in the very first Shang-Chi. So, how do you make this character more interesting? Felt like the actor who played him he did a decent job, but he had no charisma at all. I didn't care about his story. I think a lot of people kind of felt that way. But I'm glad that they're actually giving thought to this and just not putting something out there. It says when asked if there were any ideas he had during the first film's development that he'd like to utilize in the sequel, Cretton said, "There are a lot of ideas that we had in the opener, and some of those ideas are planted as questions by the end of our movie," the director continued. "There are things that we potentially want to explore in the future. Everything changes so much, so it's hard to say how many of those ideas will actually make it to the finish line, but there are many of them there." I'm trying to think of the questions that he's actually talking about. Maybe, the direction of, um, Shang-Chi's sister. I think we already kind of know uh, the direction that she's going. She's going to be a villain. Um, that being said, I don't feel like there was anything that when I got in watching this film that I was like, really wish they would have answered this. And I can't think of a thing. I really can't. So I don't know what he's talking about. Marvel Studios Shang-Chi and the Legend just goes on to talk about how it was released and how much money it made. And of course, they're using the COVID virus for the reason why it didn't do so good. But I think we've seen in phase 4 of why it didn't go so good. It didn't go so good because Marvel Phase 4 hasn't done so good in a lot of different ways. Um, Everything's been underperforming. The series have been underperforming. The the just movies in general have underperformed. Now, I made a video on this. Is it wokeness? What is causing the decline? I actually think it's more of We don't have an Iron Man or Captain America to save the day. We got Shang-Chi. We got the Eternals. We got, the new Captain America. We've got, uh, who else? That's about it. Like, or the new Hawkeye. I mean, there's nobody that we really care about uh, in this phase so far. Now, of course, the Doctor Strange movie is coming out, and that will probably change a lot of things. But I mean, until this whole phase has just seemed like just a waste in a lot of different ways. There's been no movies that are really that exciting to see, and Shang-Chi too is not really what I would call groundbreaking in any stretch of the imagination. I don't know too many people that wanted to see it besides the mainstream media that would want to see a Shang-Chi 2. I kind of felt like, hey, one and done movie. I thought it did what it was supposed to do. It didn't make very much money. I thought they could say, well, this is a win because it did make back the money that they spent on it. Uh, Kind of feel like they're really gambling on trying to make the second one, knowing full well that the first one really barely made anything for them. So if they think the second one's going to do any better, I think they're badly mistaken. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think. I know this really isn't. I was expecting that there was going to be a little bit more um, in depth thinking into this, but it was basically just the writer saying, "I hadn't wrote anything yet. I hadn't wrote anything. That's the update. We're just throwing out some ideas, trying to answer questions from the original one." Um, I'm cool with them taking their time. Take all the time in the world. Make something interesting out of the second one. The only thing that I can think of that I would find personally interesting within a second Shang-Chi movie is maybe if he goes against his sister. Uh, but I think we all know how that would turn out. Um, she would, basically hold all the cards. Uh, she would be better than him, being more, scenes than him, and that would completely and totally ruin the movie in a lot of different ways because we would again have another Shang-Chi movie with very little Shang-Chi. Uh, I wasn't a fan of the character of Shang-Chi, the actor he played him, Simu Liu. But if I'm going into a movie that's about Shang-Chi, I expect Shang-Chi at the end of the day. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think. Are y'all excited for a Shang-Chi 2? Just like, I'm sorry, like, there's no part of me that's like, I want this movie. I can't wait to see this movie. I would love to meet somebody that is actually interested in it. I'd love to talk with them and find out what they would find so interesting in a second movie. Uh, and whether or not they think that a second movie would make them money. I feel like a lot of people are using the pandemic as an excuse for why it failed. But what they're not taking into consideration is the Marvel series are failing in a lot of different ways. No one's watching them, and no one has to go to movies to see it. So what's the excuse there? So yeah, I mean, you can't always fall back on the pandemic as a reason for why your movie failed. Could just be because it sucked. I mean, I don't feel like that's that far out there, to be honest. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching. Y'all take care.